Let's talk omega-3s and athletes. Omega-3 fats, EPA and DHA are essential for human health as well as performance. In athletes, supplementation with EPA and DHA has been shown to improve reaction time, muscular recovery, and inflammation. It's also been shown to help with concussion, mild traumatic brain injury, in the treatment as well as the prevention, which is really important these days when mental health is front and center. So, how much omega-3 do you need? The general recommendation by the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics is to consume 500 milligrams of EPA and DHA every single day. The problem is people tend to consume about 90 to 100 milligrams. For athletes, the requirements for omega-3s are even greater because of the training volume, the training intensity, the inflammatory response, and the energy metabolism. So if the target is 500 milligrams per day and the general population are only getting about 100, how are athletes doing? Well, recent research found that less than 10% of collegiate athletes are meeting that requirement of 500 milligrams of EPA and DHA every day. Recent data from over 1,000 NCAA Division I athletes found that they don't even achieve 2 servings of fish and seafood per week, which is the recommendation from the American Heart Association. We've got a big problem here. How can you tell if your athletes are deficient or have an insufficient intake of omega-3s? Well, the omega-3 index is a pretty nice test. It's a measure of the amount of EPA and DHA in the red blood cells of the body. And this effectively estimates your dietary intake and your whole body status. So what targets are you aiming for? Well, above 8% is considered ideal, meaning your athlete is at the lowest risk of insufficiency. If the score comes back between 4 and 8%, the athlete is at a moderate risk. And if the score is below 4%, we've got a big problem because that's potentially high risk of deficiency or insufficiency. How can you increase the omega-3 status of your athletes and clients? Well, we've got 2 tools, supplements and food. Let's talk supplements first. These are really effective in the acute period, right, in that shorter time frame, because you're able to get them in quite easily. You don't have to change someone's diet. And we see in the recent study in collegiate athletes, 6 weeks of supplementation can increase omega-3 index by 38 to 55%. If you're working with professional, elite, or Olympic athletes, you're going to want to consider a longer runway than just 6 weeks. Recent study done in Olympic athletes found that 4 months of supplementation at 1.5 to 2 grams of combined EPA and DHA was sufficient to increase that omega-3 index past the 8% into that ideal range. So you did need more time to be able to build up to that 8% range. Now, the really cool thing is once that range is achieved, you don't need as much from supplements in order to maintain it. Now, what about food? Where does that fit in? Well, whilst you're supplementing to benefit the athlete or client in that acute time frame, you want to be starting to change those behaviors on the food front to be increasing the intake of omega-3 rich foods. Now, this sounds simple, but it's not easy. It's not easy to make people eat things that they maybe don't enjoy at the moment. Where can you get omega-3s from your food? Well, a great place to start is things like salmon. An 85-gram serving of salmon provides 1.7 grams, so 1,700 milligrams of EPA and DHA, so more than triple that daily total that we're after. The same serving of herring provides 1.2 grams. You could also look into sardines, 1.2 grams per serving, as well as tuna at 1 gram per serving. For athletes who are on the go, on the run, even foods like canned salmon have 0.9 grams or 900 milligrams of DHA and EPA. So that is a tremendous source. Again, canned sardines, all the different types of seafood, which sometimes take a little while to adapt someone's diet to enjoy, but mussels, oysters, scallops, these types of seafood that are going to also provide a really nice and robust source of omega-3s. A couple important things to note when you're looking for an omega-3 supplement. You want to be looking for phospholipid, triglyceride, or free fatty acid forms. Those are going to be the most bioavailable. The other thing is you're going to want to check the back of the label because the front of the label might say 1,000 milligrams per capsule. But remember, we want that EPA and DHA. So if you flip it over and look at the ingredients, you're going to see that some of those 1,000 milligram capsules actually only contain about a couple hundred milligrams of EPA and DHA, whereas another brand, likely a higher quality brand, for that same 1,000 milligram capsule might contain 500 or 600 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA. So don't just look at the front, flip it around, look at the ingredients label and see how much you're getting. All right, to sum up, omega-3 is tremendously important for human health and performance when it comes to things like reaction time and recovery with inflammation or exercise-induced muscle damage. The recommended daily intake for the general population is 500 milligrams of EPA and DHA daily. Most don't hit that. Athletes need even more. Let's find a way to increase their intake in the short term with supplements and over the long term by changing some of those dietary habits to better support their health, performance, and recovery. If you enjoyed this clip, hit the like button, share it with somebody who needs to know this, and hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on all things performance nutrition.